Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Duo Group Iron Man. In the last video, I tested out the T-bow at Zora because I wanted to compare it to the Bofa, and because I was kind of low on scales, and because I kind of needed a mental break from TOA. If you've ever grinded TOA before, you probably know what I'm talking about. I did end the video though by going back to TOA, and as you just saw, I did get a purple. I got the Masori mask, which is nice because it's the first one I've gotten, so it's new for my collection log, but it's the second one for the team because my teammate's already gotten one, and unfortunately it's the least useful piece of Masori since a lot of the time I'll be using the Slayer helm anyways. As for the stack of Zora scales, it's at 89k, although once I charge up the Trident and charge up the Blowpipe, is 87k. Yeah, so that should last a decent amount of time. Since I got the T-bow over the last month I've been doing TOA, I've probably used up at least 50 or 60k or even more Zora scales. So this should last at least another month of grinding out TOA. Here's the collection log. I ended the last video at 150 expert mode KC, and this video is mainly just me grinding out more TOA. So with that said, let's jump into it. There's about a 1 in 21 chance that the first raid of the video will be a purple light. No. I want to take a look at some of the TOA combat achievements and maybe get some stuff done since I'm grinding out TOA anyways. I have all the TOA entry mode combat achievements completed, so for all of these at least it has to be 150 invo or higher. And the first one I was just looking at, let me sort these by incomplete. Complete TOA without using any supplies from the helpful spirit and without dying. Let's do that. For this one, we definitely want no help needed, which reduces the items that you get from the helpful spirit. So like, obviously want to have that on. And yeah, I'm just going to choose like the free invocations pretty much, since I only have to do 150 invo. There's like basically nothing. Blowing mud, my invocation, that's literally free if you're soloing. It's so crazy setting the invos to 150. I feel like I have hardly anything activated. I guess that's just what happens after you get used to doing 300s. For this one, I really want to minimize the switches, so I dumped some stuff in the bank so I could carry as many supplies with me as possible. And let's see how this goes. Right off the bat, I forgot like how much less health they're gonna have in a 150 because it's been so long since I've done a 150. I was like mentally prepared to be rationing supplies as if I was doing a 300. And that is the first 2 rooms done without having used any supplies whatsoever. No, I would not like to use the helpful spirit. I do not need the helpful spirit again. This is the supplies I'm going into, I was about to say Ulm, the supplies I'm going into Wardens with. I think I'll be alright. Oh my god, Warden is attacking so slow. I am not used to this. It almost looks like the animation is like lagging or something. It's like super slow motion. Hey, there we go. Helpful Spirit Who. I actually got the combat achievement. And let's see. No. This next one I'm going to go for is basically the opposite of the one I just did. This one is you could only use the supplies given to you by the helpful spirit. You cannot bring your own stuff in. So as you can see, I brought a bunch of gear switches, and just like with last time, I didn't use any supplies in the first 2 rooms. So it should be the same thing. And after that, I'll be able to get some food, and this time I'll have salt too, which will be nice. And you can pre-pot for this, so that's going to help a little bit. Oh, the wiki says you can use the prayer restore from the Faldor shield. So I'm going to bring that with just in case. I don't anticipate having to actually use it, but just in case. Oh, no salt from the chaos. Oh, okay. That's gonna be kind of annoying actually. I guess I'm only gonna be salted for Warden then, because I kind of need to have some kind of supplies, so I'm gonna go with life. Turns out my max hit without any kind of range pot or salt is 24 with the blowpipe. And the boulders at Baba have 25 health, so it takes me 2 hits to destroy these rolling boulders. But I don't have boulder dash on, so I was still able to skip the boulders and set up the red X. And there's another combat achievement, you are not prepared. Hey, and this one was a master task, so that's 5 points. The next task I went for is Chompington, which is to defeat Zabak with melee only and without dying. You don't have to complete the whole raid for this, you just gotta beat Zabak and then you can leave. So I turned on invos for the other rooms of the raid to get to 150 and then none for this room. You don't want to stand right next to Zabak because his melee attack is really bad. You want to stand a tile or 2 away. And the timing I'm looking for is that I wait until I see the range or mage attack come out of his mouth, and that's when I hit, and then I immediately step back. I was kind of wondering how the jugs would work with melee only because because I've only ever ranged before, but it ended up being fine. I just ran up and whacked it to pop it open. But after doing this combat achievement, I checked the wiki, and it turns out you actually can use a ranged weapon for the jugs without failing the task. And that is the task, Chompington. I got 5 more points from that one, and now I'm exactly 400 away from the master tier, which I'm not like actively going for, just whatever activity I'm doing in the game at the time, I'll try to get some combat achievements done. Next combat task is no skipping allowed, which is to defeat Baba without attacking the weakened boulders with boulder dash on. And you can only hit the non-weakened boulders. Originally I thought, okay, maybe they'll take 4 blowpipe hits or something, and maybe I can destroy half of them or a third of them, and then chug bruise the rest of the time. Well, it turns out it's like not possible to destroy these on time, not with the blowpipe at least. So I spent the whole time chugging bruise while the boulders were coming at me. After that, I was not able to get into Red X for the rest of the fight, but it ended up being fine because it is 150 invo after all, so it doesn't really matter. Baba's really weak, at least compared to what I've gotten used to. Come on, please give me the achievement. Yes, no skipping allowed. Check out this game update from today. When you click on the compass, you know, normally it puts you north, but it puts the camera angle all the way down. Now it stays at the same vertical level instead of like going down there. And another part of the update is that when you have a skill panel open, you can now click to move to other areas. And does it work on the minimap too? Yeah, you can move around the minimap as well, and this will stay open. Also, if you didn't know this part isn't new, but you can always right click to set it to a different direction. Also, we'll now not change the vertical angle on that. I've done all the easy / reasonable combat achievements for TOA, so now I'm just gonna go back to raiding like normal.
Oh my, he's pre-potting? He's pre-potting, it's huge?
Just for the BGS. You need to pre-pot the super attack and super strength.
Oh no. Not the super combat?
Oh, you don't need defense potion for this. Oh my god. I didn't see the... Drop the cape, drop the cape. The cape. I'm so sorry, buddy.
GZ?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why is it there? No reason to be sorry for that.
Oh no. Spook Dog just said I.
Oh man. I think that's actually bad news for you because that means we have to go for the transmogs now.
Oh, the 450 with the level 4.
Yep.
Terrible news today.
Terrible, terrible. Another one to the collection log.
Collection log slot number 836.
I saw the red text come up at the bottom. I'm like, it wasn't from a purple, and I knew immediately what it was. The funny thing too is, by the time you're done doing the 450s, you're gonna be ready for the 500s.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that count as like still going dry? Something?
I'd say no.
You think that makes up for it?
Yeah, even if it's not my first choice.
Hello, YouTube.
Yeah, I'll put that in there for you.
No, what? Please no. Hello, YouTube.
According to the TOA calculator on the wiki, at 350 invocation, which is the invo that we just did, we each had a 0.1946% chance to get the pet, which if you do 100 divided by this number, that is about 1 in 514. But assuming the number of points you get correlates to your chance for a pet, I had about 40% of the points. So if that's the case, then it would have been even less than 1 in 514. So maybe for me it was like 1 in 550-ish. And that is pet number 15 on the account. I do keep the placeholders in my bank in the order I got them. And I was just looking at that and I realized that I just got back-to-back raids pets. Or in terms of my last 2 pets, it was the Omelette, now into the Tombkin's Guardian. I wanted to bump up the invocation, but as you know, I'm doing everything in my power to avoid insanity in solos, so I added more overlords to Kefri, which is like not one you want to add, especially in a solo because it adds a lot of time. But I've realized that I spend a lot of time in between raids doing nothing because I don't want to go back in. So in a way, for me, it's almost like more efficient to spend more time in the raid getting a bit more points, because as soon as I finish the raid, I'll be standing around for 15 minutes anyways, so what's an extra couple minutes in the raid to get a slightly better chance for a purple? And even for wardens, I started skull skipping every set of skulls, even though again, it's technically not the best points per hour, but it's the best points per raid. And if I'm doing, say, one raid per hour, no matter what, again, I may as well maximize the points. I kind of messed up this Kefri room because it was my first time trying no overlords in a solo and I was figuring out the timing and stuff, but in the end, Kefri took 2 minutes longer than normal, from 3.5 minutes to 5.5 minutes. Highest invo I've done, 325, well at least in a solo. This will be about a 1 in 19 chance to get a purple. So after having gone through another raid with more overlords, I realized I actually don't want to do more overlords anymore. Just something about doing the 310s with like the invocations I have on with like the softcore mode, they're just so consistent and so cozy. And I know that if I were to bump up the invocation and end up dying more often, that I would not want to grind out TOA the way I have been. It's just so unfun when you die. Ooh, I shouldn't have piped up, my man. We do a little trolling around here. Hey, while I'm down here doing this clue step, there's this collection log item I can get from the crabs over here, so I'm gonna get that so I don't have to come back here specifically for that in the future. I like how the random events down here have the fishbowl helmet and diving apparatus as well. It's great. The fresh crab shell is the item. It's 1 out of 8 from the bigger crabs or 1 out of 16 from the smaller crabs. And there we go, the fresh crab shell. You can make it into a helmet, but I'm just happy getting the log slot for now. Just a very fast one. It's great. It's so funny because like some collection log items at this point are like 100+ hours to get, and then there's this one which is like 30 seconds. Good morning. Today is October 6th, and do you know what October 6th is? That is the date Group Ironman came out, 2021. It's been 2 years of Group Ironman. They say the older you get, the faster time goes by, because then every day, every month, every year is a lower percentage of your life than it was previously. And that just feels so accurate. Wow. That is a cool looking drop. I'm still trying my best to rely more and more on the Kara spec and less on brews, and at this point really the only room I brew at is Akka, assuming I don't mess up the red X at Baba or mess up in other spots of the raid. But then again, it's only 310 invocation, and at higher invos the bosses have more health, so the rooms take longer and they do more damage, so this may not be the most accurate representation of the amount of damage I'd be taking. Wow, I come out of the raid and Heckhoundor's here. Who would have thought? And she's fletching, looks like Amethyst Darts. What the heck? I had no idea, except for the fact that I asked her to because I'm almost out of Amethyst Darts. So hopefully pretty soon we'll have a nice little delivery in the group storage. I just woke up, I checked the birdhouse, and that birdhouse gave me a virtual hunter level of 107, which is 28.7 mil XP. A virtual strength level. During this raid, as I was in P2 at Wardens, I had an epiphany. I was like, wait, what if I purposely do a 4 down instead of 3 down? Because the points multiplier for Wardens P2 is pretty good. If I was in the higher invocation raid, I might be more strapped for supplies or cutting it close to the time limit, but with these chill, consistent lower invos, I may as well get the extra points, especially because the 4th down is with range, and the T-bow usually kills it in like 8 hits. It's so fast. And there's this mechanic, if you didn't know, with P2, where it's like you never miss and you always hit big. so it just seems like free points this way. Like I said before, it may not be efficient points per hour, but I don't care. I'm just maximizing my points per raid without bumping up the invocation level, but we don't have to say the quiet part out loud. So this extra down takes about 40 seconds and gives an extra 0.14% chance at a purple. That's like a 1 out of 700 chance for a purple added on, which it may not be exactly how statistics work, but it's close enough to not worry about the nuances. I was just cleaning out my bank, and by cleaning out the bank, I mean taking stuff from my bank and putting it at the bottom of the group storage. But I just saw there was 5k amethyst darts in there, so thank you, Spook Dog. She didn't even tell me she put them in there, I just found them on my own. That's enough darts for another at least 200 TOAs. Another benefit of doing a 4-down warden is that I save charges on the tent whip. I normally use 20 charges per raid, but by using the Karis or BGS to do the damage, I only use 5 charges on the tent just for the first down. But to be honest, if I'm purposely going for 4 downs, I could just not even bring in the tent whip. Although a downside of doing the 4-down warden and skull skipping is that I won't be getting a PB. But unless we get a shadow, I wouldn't be making any substantial kind of PB anyways. I did another raid with no overlords just to figure out a better way to do it in a solo. It's probably not the best way, but I just want to show what I did. For the first dung trail, I made the horizontal line like you would for a melee trap. And when the first set spawns, you should be able to kill the ranger by the time the meleeer has to get all the way around Kefri to you. For the next dung trail, I make a corner in the northeast, and when the ranger spawns, it'll kind of be on the dung, so I just go all the way south, which not only drags it into the trap, but I believe the southern row is a safe spot where the ranger can't reach you. And I believe it's that row, and then anywhere west of Kefri, it can't reach you either if it's trapped. The meleeer and ranger both hit you pretty big off prayer, so being able to have only one on you is kind of necessary for more overlords. If you have a shadow, you could trap the meleeer instead, but without the shadow, it's pretty slow to kill the meleeer with major range from what I've heard. Oh man. Man, I can't believe this video has been 68 hours of in-game time, which may not seem like it because I haven't done a crazy amount of raids in this video, but I've spent a lot of time AFKing, Karamblant, and some other stuff too, which I'll show in a bit. But that's because I had to prepare these videos, and it feels so good. I have 3 videos scheduled and uploaded, which of course you'll have already seen by the time this video goes up because these will be in the past then, and that's just how time in the 3rd dimension works. The reason why I have all these videos up though is because I'm going to be not playing the game for at least a week, maybe probably even a little bit longer than that even. That is 3 videos scheduled, or arguably 4 kind of, because this one was uploaded today in real time and that was like one that I was working on the last few days, so I pretty much made 4 videos. So it's a good feeling after having spent a few days editing to finally have all these uploaded and ready to go so that we can just enjoy life for a bit. What we're doing, by the way, is UIM Loki and his girlfriend are coming to visit for a week and staying with us, and then we're gonna be hanging out with a bunch of other friends at the end of the week since a bunch of people are coming into town for TwitchCon. We're not actually going to the convention though, we're just using that as an excuse to hang out with a bunch of people. I do have an IRL channel, which is linked in every video description, by the way. Just saying if you want to check it out. And yeah, I'm just super excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. In the background of me talking, I've just been going through my bank because, as I said earlier in the video, it's the 2-year anniversary of Group Ironman, so figure it would be a good time to show my bank. This is 2 years of progress on GIM, and then here's the group storage as well. I know I went through that pretty quick, but I don't really want to make its own separate video for a bank video, so you can always just go back and pause for whatever you want to see for longer. There's 2 main things I've been doing in the background of this video. The first thing is ghouls. When I was doing chambers, I was camping ghouls in my off time to try and get the champion scroll, and then as soon as I got the T-bow, it's like I completely forgot about ghouls' existence, and this video is my first time coming back to them. I think I started the video off around 12k ghoul KC, so I didn't do too many, but I am approaching 3 times the drop rate. And then the other thing is Karamblans. Unfortunately, I did not track my fishing XP this video, so I don't know how many Karamblans I fished in this video, but it's gotta be a good at least 20 or 30 hours, maybe, yeah, probably, maybe even more hours of fishing them. And this is what the stacks are up to, and the base chance for getting the fishing pet from Karamblans is about 1 in 170k, so I think I've maybe given like 10 to 20k Karamwans to Spook in the past, so I'm at least 1.5 times the drop rate from Karamwans alone to get the fishing pet. So with this new guy, the TOA collection log is looking pretty filled out. I mean, if you ignore the bottom part, just looking at the top 2 rows, it's looking pretty filled out. I'm only missing the 3 most important items, of course. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you again next time.